Metals have unique physical characteristics and mechanical properties that can be used to identify it. These characteristics and properties must be considered before and during welding. Select each button to learn more. Density represents the weight of a given volume of metal. It can be expressed as specific gravity or specific density, which is the weight of a metal compared to the weight of an equal volume of water. The higher the density, the higher the weight. Electrical conductivity is a metal's capacity to transmit electricity. While all metals can conduct electricity, some metals are better conductors than others. Thermal conductivity refers to a metal's capability to transfer heat, and metals with high electrical conductivity also excel in heat conduction. Thermal expansion is when a material changes in size due to temperature fluctuations. When solids are heated, they expand in all directions, and when they cool, they contract in all directions. The melting point of a solid is the temperature at which it changes from a solid to a liquid state. Corrosion rates vary among metals and alloys, and it's a critical factor to consider when choosing a metal for a specific application, as it can significantly weaken its tensile strength. Stress refers to the force or load applied to a material that leads to its deformation, while strain measures the extent of deformation caused by this stress. Stress generally increases proportionally with strain. The four types of stress are tension, compression, torsion, and shear. Elasticity is a material's capacity to be temporarily deformed without permanent changes. When a material stays within its elastic range, it will regain its original form and size once the deforming force or stress is removed. However, every material has a limit, called the elastic limit, beyond which the material won't return to its initial state. Elastic limits can be measured using extensometers. Yield strength is the highest tensile stress a material can endure before undergoing permanent deformation. When subjected to stress beyond its yield strength, the material won't revert to its initial shape after the stress is removed. Tensile strength represents the highest tensile stress a material can endure before it breaks. The highest applied load on a material when it breaks is referred to as the ultimate load. Ductility refers to a material's plasticity when subjected to tension. It is measured by dividing the change in length of a material at the point of failure by its initial length. A material's hardness is a measure of its ability to withstand indentation and is connected to its elastic and plastic characteristics. Higher hardness signifies increased resistance to indentation, penetration, and wear. There are a variety of methods for identifying base metals, including metal labeling, magnetic testing, appearance, X-ray fluorescence spectrometry, and laser-induced breakdown spectroscopy. Select each button to learn more. To distinguish between different base metal types, many sites use labeling or color coding systems. Labeling involves marking the ASTM number on the material using an indelible marker or paint stick, while color coding assigns a specific color to each base metal type. When marking stainless steel and nickel alloys, it's essential to use low chloride markers to prevent weld contamination, and specialty markers with white or yellow ink are available for this purpose. When using magnetic testing, a magnet is held near the metal to be identified. If the metal is not attracted to the magnet, the metal is likely a type of non-magnetic metal, such as austenitic stainless steel, non-ferrous metal, or manganese steel. A magnetic metal, such as carbon steel, cast iron, ferritic stainless steel, or martensitic stainless steel, is attracted to the magnet. Keep in mind that magnetic testing can be unreliable at times, so it should be used in combination with another identification method. Their appearance can also be used to identify metals. While hot-rolled and cold-finished carbon both come in standard shapes, such as rods, bars, beams, channels, and angles, they do have some differences in appearance. Unweathered hot-rolled carbon steel has a bluish-gray and smooth to scaly surface, as opposed to cold-finished carbon steel, which has a gray smooth surface. When weathered, their surfaces both change to a reddish-brown rust, with slight differences in appearance. Differences in corners are apparent as well. The three types of cast iron, gray, white, and malleable, also have distinct appearances. Gray cast iron exhibits a grainy and gray appearance due to slow cooling. Graphite flakes are visible on a freshly fractured surface. White cast iron, on the other hand, has a fine silvery white crystalline surface resulting from rapid chilling and lacks free carbon. Malleable cast iron, which is annealed white cast iron, features an outer shell of white cast iron transitioning into a gray core, resulting in a cast iron that is stronger and less brittle than gray and white cast iron. The X-ray fluorescence spectrometry is another method for identifying base metals. It is performed using a portable metal analyzer to quickly and accurately analyze and identify the metal or metal alloys present in a sample. In this process, an X-ray emitted from the device collides with an atom in the metal, dislodging an electron, which results in an unstable state. To regain stability, the atom shifts an electron from a higher orbital shell to the inner orbital vacancy. A fluorescent X-ray is then emitted, which the analyzer can use to determine the different elements present in the metal. Another method for identifying metals is laser-induced breakdown spectroscopy. The LIBS analyzer can be used to confirm alloy type and grade of stainless and low alloy steels. It is also capable of detecting carbon, which the XRF analyzer cannot do. The LIBS analyzer uses a pulsed, focused laser that is fired at a sample, creating a plasma around the area that has been struck. Bound atomic electrons are stripped from the atoms comprising the material. As the plasma cools, atoms recombine with electrons and emit light in the ultraviolet, optical, and infrared regimes in the process. When determining the effects of welding on both the base metal and the weld, you must consider several metallurgical variables. Base metal composition and thickness, filler metal, and joint configuration all affect the weld quality. There are also several processes and design considerations used to change the metal characteristics to produce a more desirable weld. To make acceptable welds, consider base metal preparation, joint design considerations, filler metal and electrode selection, preheating and interpass temperature control, and post-weld heat treatment.